Meeting of the Dumfries Galloway Licensing Board. As a preliminary issue, we have received apologies from the convener for today's meeting. Could I therefore ask nominations to appoint a convener for this meeting only? Councillor Dorbert?
Good morning. Thank you. I nominate Councillor Dryborough.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Howie?
Happy to second that.
Thank you. Councillor Dryborough, are you happy to chair this meeting?
Yeah, thanks very much, Jackie. Good morning, members. Welcome to this Dumfries Galloway Licensing Board on the 21st of August at 10:30. The usual rules apply when not using.
Yes. Okay.
Can Peter Hughes turn his mic off, please?
Sorry.
Thank you. New standing orders apply. I'll remind the members of the good practice of making sure that if you are not talking, make sure that your camera and your microphone is off. I'm presuming that this is being recorded. Is that correct?
Yes, Chair, it's been recorded.
And it'll be open for members of the public to view later on. I'll ask if councillors wish to make a contribution. I'll ask by producing their names, such as Councillor Smith, and officer. Therefore, by the process of elimination, officers will be known by their name. I'm presuming we have Police Scotland and any others available for the rest of the agenda.
We do, Chair. Yes, thank you.
Good, thank you very much. All right, we'll go into said apologies, and then convener's approval of members' remote participation, which I'll give now. Any apologies?
Thank you, convener. Yeah, I can confirm that we've received apologies today from the convener, Councillor Hislop, and also Councillors Ingalls and Lowe. You have 7 members present, all via MS Teams, being yourself, Councillors Baretti, Dorbert, Howie, McCammon, McGregor and Thompson. Thank you.
So, thank you very much. And as I said before, I'll give approval for remote participation. Item 2 is declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest? Councillor Baretti.
Thank you, Chair. In relation to item 6, hearing 4, I know the individual that's about to make the representations, so, and also was a member of the club for some time, so I will withdraw from that particular hearing.
Thank you. Any others? Yep. We'll then go to the minutes of the meeting of 3rd of July. Is everybody happy with those?
Agreed.
Happy to agree, Chair.
Thank you very much. And they're approved. Item 4 then is Licence in Scotland Act 2000 applications granted under delegated authority. I'm sure members have read this, and I believe this is just for noting, Cheryl.
That's correct, Chair.
Are members happy to note?
Happy to note.
Noted.
Thank you. Item number 5 is Licence in Scotland Act application for provisional premise licence. Who's taking us through this then?
Thank you, Chair. I'll take you through this.
Yeah.
Members, if I could ask you to turn to page 13 of your papers, we have an application for a provisional premises licence for 7 to 13 High Street, Lockerbie. I can confirm that the correct statutory procedures have been followed with respect to advertising at the premises. And as members will see at the bottom of the page, following the procedure, which I will take you through, the board has got the option of either refusing or granting the application. And on page 14, members have the grounds of refusal on 3.3. The process will be that we will hear from the Licensing Standards Officer, and if members have any questions, he will be available at that time. We will then hear from any objectors if they're present. We will then hear from the applicant or their agent, and if members have any questions at that time, they will be available. There will then be an opportunity for any objectors to sum up, followed by the agent, and then you will be in session. So if I could invite the Licensing Standards Officer to address the board. Thank you.
Good morning, convener and members. This provisional premise licence application has been submitted by SR Freshway for 7 to 13 High Street, Lockerbie. Before I briefly summarise my report, I just want to make a point regarding the photographs that are submitted after my report. These were taken 2 or 3 months ago when I was making the inquiry for the LSO report. I can confirm that since that time, and even the last week or two in the end of July when the premises fully opened, the premises are nothing like what is in the photographs. It does look like it's made a remarkable transformation, like a makeup rooms if you want. And the premises are a fully functioning premises on occasional licences for the convenience store in Lockerbie. To summarise the provisional application report, the report's attached and you'll have seen that. 10 AM to 10 PM off sales, which is within the Act obviously. The shop itself is split into 3 sections. You'll maybe make that out from the report or the photographs of submitted. There is a soft play area for children, a community space with a small bakery and coffee machines, and then the part of the convenience store which has its usual items for sale, including the alcohol display as per the application. A point to touch on is the deliveries mentioned within my report. Just to confirm that the agent for the applicant supplied a policy document to myself that provided reassurance with regard to all the parts detailed therein, with regard to legislative procedures that they must comply with regard to same. So again, I was satisfied with that document that was submitted to myself by Mr Hazard. The notice was displayed during my inquiry. No adverse comments with regard to the application itself for the provisional premises licence application. And again, all the parts detailed in my report are there for any questions if you wish, convener or members. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Members, any questions for the licence officer? Councillor Howie.
Thanks, Convener. Mr Davison, I take it there's a set criteria for over-provision in the area, and that being the case, there's no concern that the over-provision applies in this case.
Chair, if I may be able to assist Councillor Howe with that. There are currently 5 licensed off sales within Lockerbie. As members will be aware, there has been an objection received from someone who owns the premises next door, but I can confirm that that convenience store is not licensed to sell alcohol. This board has already determined at a previous meeting that there is no over-provision of alcohol sales in the locality. And this premises has been operating and selling alcohol using occasional licences since the 28th of June 2025. 4 have been granted and 4 are still pending. So therefore, I'd suggest that there is no over-provision within the locality.
Yes, thank you very much. Ian, are you happy with that?
Yes, thank you, Laura. That's helpful.
Thank you. Are there any objectors present? Sorry, Tony, before I go there. Councillor Bray.
Thank you, Chair. Stuart, thank you. I'm looking at the map and the layout on page 27. You went in and took photographs of the internal part. Did you look at the external part? Because I'm looking at the top of the page where it says 3, which is an emergency door. And that, does that lead out into an area which is secure? How does that work? Because from the map, there says there's a garage and a depot very close by, and what looks like a partition wall, and I can't make out what that is.
Thank you. Yeah, I've did a full examination and walk round of the premises before or during those photographs that I've submitted. That obviously shows it in a state of disrepair and obviously work starting and when the premises had just opened. That fire exit, you know, does lead on to a safe area. There is a garage and a depot around the back there, but there's sufficient space round about the premises. But I'm obviously just detailing my report on the alcohol and the provisional application. So I can't really comment too much more on that fire exit, if you understand.
Right, okay, thank you, Stuart. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Councillor Thompson?
Yeah, thank you, Convener. It was just in terms of it does talk about the soft play area in the report. It's not, I'm looking at the map and I'm not, sorry, the layout of the building. I'm not quite clear where that might be, but I'm assuming it would be in the sort of top part of the diagram. And it's really just to get that assurance about, in terms of an operating plan, about times when children or people using the soft play area would be accompanied, or that there'd be a clear segregation between alcohol display areas, and how that might be, or would that be part of a more detailed application, given that this is a provisional premises license? So it's just really to ask that. And the second thing, just in terms of local information, I think there was some question marks around some of the signage and frontage on the premises as it sort of heads towards the church in Lockerbie or further along the high street. And I think, I'm not sure if that'd be part of the licensing or if there's a separate planning process to go through about the type and nature of a sort of colourful signage, if you like, on what's potentially a sort of heritage type building. So it's really, if there's any points about that you can address. Thank you.
Thank you. With regard to the soft play area, Councillor Thompson, I can confirm as you walk in the front door of the premises, the coffee machines are immediately on the left and the bakery on the left as you're walking in. And then through the convenience store is immediately to the right, and then further ahead, about another 20 metres or so, is in fact even longer than that, is the soft play area, which is, you could almost describe as a separate part, albeit open, but it is away from the food items and the normal items you would see in a convenience store, and the alcohol sales are again further away, if you like, behind the counter, and then into this beer cave that's segregated from the premises. So it's well away and seems to be, you know, segregated, in my opinion, albeit open. With regard to signage, I can't really add any more than that. I've made inquiry at the premises and nothing with regard to any irresponsible promotions or the like for my sort of examination and inspection.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Right, so have we got any objectors present?
Chair, I can confirm that there's nobody in the hall. Therefore, the written objections start at page 29 if members wish an opportunity to read that for themselves.
I'm sure members have read all the papers as I've had them for a week and a bit. So there are 1, 2, 3 objectors in email or in the paperwork. Okay. Councillor Thompson.
Thanks, Convener. It's just on the objection. So, I mean, I think it's only right that we recognise and note them. We don't often get objections, but when we do, I think it's just about giving them due regard. So I think with the first one on page 29, I'm not sure if this would be within the bounds of licensing, but presumably if there's any issue with noise out with a certain time, that would be something for environmental health. So it's just really to acknowledge it, because obviously it's a concern that's been raised, and it does allude to parking, which I think the next objection on page 31 talks about that as well. So there's but again, it's not necessarily one for the licensing board, but I think obviously it's an acknowledged issue that there's always maybe a challenge for parking at certain times in that particular ground. So and I suppose ultimately what I'm getting to is that, in terms of the last objection, I don't think there's sort of a particular line on whether or not competition's allowed. But in terms of it, would there be any, from what's been submitted there, is there any competent reasons in terms of licensing that would be required to take on board, or are we content just to note them and maybe get a wee bit of advice from legal or governance there? Thank you.
Hey, Laura.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, thank you, Councillor Thompson. I can confirm that from a legal perspective, the objections, although quite rightly noted by yourself, are governed by other regulatory functions of the Council rather than licensing, so they would not constitute valid grounds for refusing the licence.
Yep, thank you. We'll now hear from the applicant's agent, and then there'll be any questions from members for the agent. So take it with Audrey there.
Yes, good morning, Your Honours. My name is Audrey Ferry, and I'm appearing in this application on behalf of Mr Hazard. Online today also is Mr Sangaranathan Ravishankar, who is a director of SR Freshway Limited, the applicant company. First of all, thank you to Your Honours Clerk and the Licensing Standards Officer for doing quite a bit of my work for me in terms of the discussion with Councillor Thompson in particular. But just to put some meat on the bones, as it were, here, this shop is a former British Red Cross shop and office which had been closed for some time, and I understand had become a bit of an eyesore. So the applicants have made a significant investment to create what is a bright, modern and well-appointed convenience store. As has been pointed out, the premises have been trading under occasional licences, which were granted originally from the 28th of June, but in fact the store didn't open until mid-July. So they sell fresh and frozen groceries, including locally sourced meat, bakery produce in association with a local baker, and we've already heard about the bakery section, household items, of course, pet food, a range of newspapers and magazines. Other in-store facilities include lotto, pay points, cashback, self-serve hot and cold drinks, and there's also a small seating area, or what the applicants like to think of as a community space, and a small soft play area. Now, just at this juncture to point out that the plan which accompanies the applications for occasional licence differs slightly from the application plan before your honours today. And that is in respect of the small soft play area. And to deal with that going forward, because this is a provisional application, it's been agreed with your honours officials that an application for major variation will be submitted in the very near future, which will incorporate both in the operating plan and the layout plan the reference to this small soft play area. And when I say small, it's intended for a maximum of 3 to 5 children who would be aged between 2 and 5 years old. And the applicant's thinking is that parents, grandparents could help themselves to a coffee from the machine and maybe purchase something from the bakery section, and then sit in the small seated area while the children play. So it's really no more than that. It's not intended to be a full soft play area which would host events or anything of that nature. In terms of alcohol, Mr Davidson has already explained that the display areas are behind the tills and in the beer cave, the beer cave is a small room which is quite close to the till or counter area. It has see-through doors, so the staff can monitor closely what's happening there. And both of these areas are to the right of the entrance and at the back of the store, so they are well away from the soft play area. Home deliveries are also available. The applicant's home delivery policy has been made available to Mr Davidson, who I understand is satisfied that the requirements of Your Honour's policy are met. So, amongst other points, the policy sets out the statutory controls and has photographs of approved ID documents. And of course, Challenge 25 would apply in the premises anyway. So that document really sets out in general what procedure the staff would follow. The total alcohol capacity is around 11.5% of the total area of the store. So alcohol is ancillary to the main purpose of the store, but it would be wrong of me to deny its importance in the context of a basket shop. You know, for example, if on a Friday I'm walking on my way home from the station past the shop and I go in and I want to buy some kitchen foil, an onion for my pasta sauce and a bottle of wine, then I should be able to nip in and do all of that. And that's really the thinking behind the store. The opening hours are 5:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. So the early start is to cater for workers coming off shift at a nearby location. And the hope is that the bakery products in particular will appeal to them. So there's CCTV both inside and outside the premises. Just to touch briefly on the objections, because we do have to give them consideration, the concerns raised. But it has already been pointed out to Your Honours that the issues really are not licensing objections as such, and would not, in my submission, be sufficient to allow Your Honours to refuse the application. However, just to say that the applicants do have parking round to the side. They have 5 spaces, and there is also an area there which can be used for deliveries. So that seems to me to be an issue which they have addressed and dealt with. Any enforcement in relation to parking or noise nuisance would, of course, be matters for other council departments. At the moment, they're not playing background music, which is all that's intended in terms of the operating plan, but they may wish to have some background, properly controlled, low-level background music or shop radio in the future, as is common in many convenience stores and supermarkets. So, as to the grounds of refusal, based on the information before you, it does not seem to me that any of the grounds of refusal applies. The applicants with other premises in the area in Lockerbie and Lochmaben have a track record of well-run premises, and they're clearly fit and proper. There have been no issues or complaints raised which have come to the attention of the police or the licensing standards officer since the premises started trading. The applicants have measures in place to meet the objectives, for example, the home delivery policy, the CCTV, the fact that the areas where alcohol is displayed are under the close supervision of staff. The premises are suitable for the sale of alcohol. All planning and building warrant consents are in place. And just to mention at this point, the issue which Councillor Thompson raised about the signage. Signage would be a matter for planning, and as far as I understand, all necessary consents have been obtained. But I mean, that's maybe something that we can look at as we come up to the confirmation of the provisional premises licence. Your Honours don't have an over-provision policy, and I would suggest that it isn't an issue in this case anyway. The premises are located in the High Street, where you would expect to see a range of shops, including convenience stores, and I would argue that there is no material before you to suggest that there is over-provision. Because the premises have been trading, and I'm coming to the end now, Your Honours, there are actually some local reviews which are all 5-star, I'm very pleased to say. And just a couple of comments worth noting. One reviewer says that the store has a great choice of products with really good offers, and goes on to comment, this is just what we needed in this wee corner of Lockerbie. And the final one I want to mention is very briefly the comment that this is a great addition to Lockerbie. So on that note, I would ask your honours to grant this application, and if you have any questions, I'd be very happy to answer them.
Thank you very much, Audrey. So members' questions. So Councillor Thompson.
Yeah, thank you, and convener, and thank you, Audrey, for your presentation. I think the only sort of minor issue, which isn't specifically to do with licensing, but is when you mentioned it, was just I think there was a late listed building consent for internal, but also I think external in terms of the fascia signage, which was sort of quite sort of bright and colourful, obviously, but because of the nature of the building, I think there was an application required. I appreciate it's not really for today, but in terms of there's maybe something there that has either been concluded or is in process or in train, but I gather that planning did get in touch, but I just wasn't sure if that had been concluded yet. And appreciate if you've got any comment, that'd be helpful. But as I say, it's not a determination issue as such.
No, I can't comment on that, but what I will do, I know that there's an architect instructed in this matter, and he has been dealing with the planning consents and building warrant process. So I will pass on your comment to the principal agent, Mr. Hazard, and he can take it up with the architects if that's acceptable to you.
Much obliged, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Thompson. Anybody else? No. It's time for the agent to sum up, as there's no objectors. But so you're happy with everything that you've said, Ms. Ferry, and then we'll move into determination.
Yes, I don't have anything to add. I think I've covered all the points, and I don't want to take up more of your honour's time.
Thank you very much. I've got one question for Laura. Laura, obviously there's the licensing conditions that we place on different things, and there's the area policies. I'm presuming that this application for provisional premise license will follow all of those as part of the application.
Yes, Chair, I'm happy to confirm that it will.
That's excellent, thank you very much. Okay, members, we are in session. Councillor McGregor.
Thanks very much, convener. Yeah, I've no issue with approving the provisional premises licence, and as the agent has said, you know, the store has gone down pretty well in the town with people that I've spoken to.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other voices on this, or are we happy to approve?
Happy to grant, convener.
Thank you very much. Laura, can you confirm the...
Thank you, Chair. I can confirm that the Board has granted the licence in terms of Section 45 of the Licensing Scotland Act 2005 for a provisional premises licence.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honours.
Thank you, Ms. Ferry. Okay, we'll now move on to item 6. This item is for dealing with applicants which have been received for variation to premise licence. Clerk, can you go through the report and confirm the procedure for this item?
Thank you, Chair. Members, we have now turned to page 35 of your papers. We have 5 hearings, all of which are in terms of Section 30 of the Licensing Scotland Act 2005, which is applications for major variations of premises licence. The report details the applications that we have received. The first one is at Buccleuch Centre, the second the 19th Hole, Southern S, the third Dalbeattie Post Office, the fourth Newton Stewart Golf Club, and the fifth Dumfries and District Railway Social Club. As required by law, a copy of each application was sent to Police Scotland, the local authority, Scottish Fire Rescue Service, the local community council, NHS Dumfries Galloway and neighbours. What I would suggest, Chair, is that we go through the process for each of the hearings individually, whereby the Licensing Standards Officer will be available to provide you with a brief report and also answer any questions. And thereafter, as appropriate, Police Scotland will be available to answer any questions from members. And if the applicant or their agent is available, they will then be available to give a presentation and answer any questions. No objections have been received to any of the applications, Chair.
Thank you very much, Laura. So we'll go into the first one, which is hearing 1, the Buccleuch Centre, Langham. I'll hear from the LSO, please.
Thanks, Convener. Just to briefly summarise the report there, the application for the Buccleuch Centre, which is obviously it's a multi-purpose venue for arts and community, as described there in my report, which is in the centre of Langham. This is the variations to amend their operating plan and change to the layout. The details are described in the report with some photographs for the outdoor area. Initially, the change to the operating plan is to include the off-sales. Again, the hours are mentioned in my report, and the increase in capacity, which is linking in with the outdoor area. Basically, it's 2 tables and benches there to take advantage of the outdoor area for alcohol consumption, obviously weather dependent, on the paved ground. No issues that I could see from any sort of nearby neighbours. Seem to be a small distance away. You know, the premises aren't a wet pub at all by any means, and you know, people are attending theatre, films, and you know, it's that type of venue. Capacity, in my opinion, was suitable there for the outdoor of 50. During my inquiry, I found the applicant and the connected people very professional, very well run premises. The notice was displayed, and no adverse comments for my brief report there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, members. Any questions for the LSO? Nope. Police Scotland, I'm taking it Sergeant Ritchie, or is it?
Morning, Convener. Yes, it's Amy Ritchie. Yeah, just to confirm there are no concerns or comments for us in respect of this one. Thanks.
Yeah. And is the applicant there?
Chair, I understand there was to be Miss Davidson to represent the Buccleuch Centre.
Iona?
Yeah, morning. Yeah, basically we just really want to be compliant with the outdoor drinking laws. For example, if we've got customers in for lunch and they want to sit outside with a glass of wine or a beer, that we're compliant with that. We have our own in-house policy where we only actually serve alcohol with food during coffee shop hours anyway. So yeah, basically we just want to be compliant with the laws, and we also have a local producers market every month. So at the minute, obviously, we can't accept anybody selling alcohol, stall holders wise. So it just means that obviously we can go back to them and we can accept those stall holders, and yeah, just looking to improve and yeah, anyway we can with the facility going forward.
Okay, thank you. Members, any questions for Iona? Okay. Do you want to sum up then, Iona, or are you happy with what you've said?
No, I think I'm quite happy with what I've said.
That's lovely, thank you. Boardler in session, Councillor Thompson.
Happy to grant, Convener.
Okay. Everybody of likewise. Okay, we'll grant that one. Laura, can you confirm?
Thank you, Chair. I can confirm that the Board has granted a major variation to the premises licence of the Buccleuch Centre in Langham in terms of Section 30 of the Licensing Scotland Act 2005.
Lovely, thank you. We'll then move on to hearing 2, which is the 19th hole at Southern Ness. Clerk, anything to add to this?
Thank you, Chair. Members, your papers start at page 47. I understand that the applicant is present and the licensing officer is available to provide you with comment on his report.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to the LSO then, please.
Thanks, Convener. This is the variation to amend the current operating plan and change the layout plan for the 19th hole at Southern S. This initially came about from a routine inspection from myself last year, which revealed that the outdoor area that was being used wasn't within their licence layout plan, and hence this application, the applicant did immediately use occasional licences to cover that outdoor area. So during their inquiry to submit a major variation for their layout plan, they looked at their operating plan on sort of my advice, if you like, just to sort of, I don't know, kind of improve or expand their business needs as they move forward with that. So it was cost effective for them to do everything at once. So moving on there, the details of the operating plan are described in my report, with the increase in outdoor area, which is obviously taken in the seating. That's you can see photographs of convener members, and anybody local area will know what I'm referring to. Within the operating plan, there's also the increase in the on sales, which is described about the policy, or just slightly with policy, with a 10 AM start, moving from 12 midday from the Monday to Sunday, and obviously increasing their off sales as well, from 12 PM to 10 PM to 10 AM to 10 PM, which is within the regulations of the Act. Also, the seasonal variation is just a change of wording. Restaurant facilities and the likes is obviously in line with their food that they do provide, snacks and the like, within and out with core areas, as within out with core hours as detailed in the report. Children and young persons, again, nothing untoward. It details the ages, times and parts for that, and again, no adverse comments from myself. Moving to the layout plan, as I described, the number of occasional licences were submitted without any issue. They were granted by ourselves and no issues, so all good from my perspective. And again, that's just ensuring compliance from last year's inspection. DPM, Mr Quigley, Grant Quigley, who I've dealt with a number of occasions, extremely professional, and the applicant, Wilma Graham, again, no issues with that. Nothing really to add to my report. The details are all there, and I'm sure you've read it, so I don't need to expand any further.
Thank you very much, members. Any questions? No, we'll go to the police.
Thanks, Convener. No concerns from us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll hear from the applicant or agent.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Hi. So we are just looking to cover the external area and make several slight adjustments to our operating plan, just to conform with legislation, really. The external area was brought to our attention by the LSO on an inspection that we had to put in the application for the grant. It has been trading on that format for a number of years, and like has been mentioned previously, we have been operating on occasional licenses for some period of time. The extension of the hours for the on sales is just to, with the introduction to the food service as part of our business. If someone wishes to have the occasional glass of wine with an early lunch, perhaps, or a bit of brunch, then we're able to facilitate that, and obviously help support the business in that aspect. And if there's any other questions with regards to anything with regards to the plans, then I'm more than happy to answer those.
Thank you very much, Mr Quigley. Members, any questions for the applicant? No. Mr. Quigley, you've got a chance to sum up, or are you happy with what you said?
Yeah, I think I'm happy with what I've said so far. Thank you.
Okay, members, we're now in session. I suggest that we grant the application as is suggested. Councillor Bray?
Yeah, I was about to agree with that, Chair. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Laura, can you confirm the decision?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I can confirm that the Licensing Board has granted the major variation of premises licence in terms of Section 30 of the Licensing Scotland Act 2005 to the 19th hole in Southern East.
Thank you very much. We'll now move on to hearing 3, which is the application of variation of premise licence, Dalbeattie Post Office, Dalbeattie Store, 4 High Street. Anything to go through on this one, Laura?
Thank you, Chair. Members, this starts at page 57 of your notes. It is a change to the layout by an additional bay. The Licensing Standards Officer is available to speak to his report and answer questions, as is the police. There are no objectors, and I understand that the applicant is attending by telephone.
Okay, thank you. LSO, can we go through yours?
Yeah, thank you, Convener. I've got nothing further to add to this one. It's fairly straightforward. The applicants reconfigured the internal layout to include an additional bay. This is an area already approved by the board. It has increased the capacity, but as you've already previously heard, there is no over provision, so I don't have any issues.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for the LSO? No, thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Police Scotland.
Thanks, Convener. No, nothing to add from us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And do we have the applicant on phone? You're on mute if
yes.
you're on.
Yes, Sam.
Okay. This is your chance to put your case forward to the members of the licensing board. Please carry on.
Basically, we increased the sort of shop space slightly. So I've got another bay I would like to add to make more range available for the customer. That's it pretty much.
Okay. Members, any questions for the applicant? Yeah, and I'll say Mr. Keith Swaran, I hope I got your name right. Yeah. You can sum up, but if you're happy with what you've said, we can go to determination.
Yeah, happy with it. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Members, we're in session. We're happy to agree. Oh, sorry, what? Councillor Howie and then Councillor Howie then Beretti.
You just beat me, Convener. Happy to approve.
Okay, good. Councillor Beretti.
Yeah, happy to approve. And Chair, as we're likely to go into hearing 4 now, and I have to dissent myself. I don't want to switch my computer off. I don't want to switch my phone off because I've had. So do
you can listen in, Tony. You just didn't take part.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Laura, can you confirm the?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I can confirm that the Licensing Board has granted the application for major variation of premises licence in terms of Section 30 of the Licensing Scotland Act 2005 to Dalbeattie Post Office / Dalbeattie Store.
Thank you very much. We'll then go on to hearing 4, which is the application of variation of premise licence, Newton Stewart Golf Club, Minigaff, Newton Stewart. Clark, can you go through this report?
Thank you, Chair. Noting that Councillor Beretti has remained online but will not participate in this discussion, having previously declared an interest in it. Members, their papers start at page 63. This is an application from Newton Stewart Golf Club to change the terminal hour on a Friday and Saturday. And we have the Licensing Standards Officer present to take you through her report and also to answer any questions. Also, Mr. Hughes is available online to speak for the applicant, and there are no objections.
Yes, thank you very much. Mary, I take it as you use it.
It's myself, convener, Julia Farrell.
Oh, Julia, how are you doing, Julia? Are you okay?
Good, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, convener. So this application relates to Newton Stewart Golf Club, which is a members club, and it's got associated clubhouse, which is currently got operating hours Monday to Sunday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. The club is seeking to extend the terminal hour on a Friday and Saturday until 1 a.m. just to facilitate some functions and club functions and other parties for members, etc. They have previously extended the hours by way of extended hours applications, which haven't given rise to any concerns at all. The operating plan currently allows children and young persons entry on an unlimited basis. This is to facilitate golfing, as members will appreciate. Children do require to be supervised by an adult after 8 p.m. Now, the application doesn't seek to amend this. However, you'll hear from Police Scotland that their advice of a representation in relation to this. On speaking to the applicant, Mr Hughes, he's confirmed that the club have no difficulty with the part of the policy relating to young persons being supervised after 10 p.m, which to me would seem to be appropriate in this case, given that it is a golf club and there will be children and young persons accessing the premises, probably in groups that might be unsupervised up until the relevant hours. The notice was displayed as required, and generally the premises are well run and I've had no issue at all with them in the past. Happy to take any questions. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Julia. Members, any questions for Julia? No. Okay. Let's hear from Police Scotland then.
Thanks, convener. I'll try and keep this brief, but in short, there are no objections from us regarding the increase in the terminal hour to 1 a.m. But there is a request in respect of the terms and conditions surrounding to access of children and young persons. So at the moment, as it currently is, it would appear that young persons in particular can be present within the premises and could be unaccompanied until 1 a.m. So there is a request from us just to bring that in line with current board policy. In short, basically. So yeah, that young persons must be accompanied by a responsible adult from 10 p.m. onwards, and that children and young persons must vacate the premises by 10 p.m. Unless there's obviously a bona fide function or party, etc., that they're invited to. So yeah, no objections, but there is that request for consideration regarding access of children and young persons, obviously to support the children and young persons and protecting them from harm, licence and objective. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Amy. Members, any questions for Police Scotland? Okay, we'll now hear from the applicant.
Yeah, Peter Hughes on behalf of Newton Stewart Golf Club. The main reason for the application was because we have been using extended licence applications in the past for functions, birthday parties, anniversaries, etc. So it's just for ease if we could get it extended permanently. We've had to turn down in the past a couple of applications, a couple of requests for late licence because it takes, I believe, up to 4 weeks to get the licence. We have never been refused in the past, so it was just for ease of continuing applying for late licence for functions. We don't foresee that we will be open on a regular basis on a Friday, Saturday night, and it's basically just for functions that are planned. I note the comments from Police Scotland when we got that through several weeks ago. Quite happy to comply with all the details that was mentioned by Police Scotland about the young persons time-wise, etc., for vacating the premises. And obviously, if they're here at functions, they will be accompanied by adults. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. You answered the question I was going to ask you there, so that's fine. Members, any questions for Mr Hughes? Councillor Thompson?
Yeah, it's for yourself, convener. I think, yeah, I mean, you're going to ask the question anyway. It was just, obviously, is that something that now that Mr. Hughes, you've taken that on board, and obviously that helps us stay in line with our licensing objectives. Does that get recorded as such in terms of what we agree? And if so, if that could be clear, that'd be great. Thank you.
I'll ask Laura to comment on this.
Chair, thank you very much. Yes, at the point, if members are wanting to approve with the modification, then that will be narrated at the time.
You happy with that, Councillor Thompson?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Mr. Hughes, you're entitled to sum up. If you're happy with what you've said, we can go into session.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with what I've supplied. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Members, I think this is relatively straightforward. Happy to grant with the additional 4 bullet points on page 68, which will clarify the situation for the licensing panel. Anybody against? Laura, can you confirm the decision of the board?
Thank you, Chair. I can confirm that the board has decided to grant the application for major variation of premises licence with the modifications suggested by Police Scotland being that children must be accompanied by an adult at all times, that young persons must be accompanied by a responsible adult from 10 p.m. onwards, that children and young persons must vacate the premises by 10 p.m. And however, if there is a bona fide function or organised event to which children and young persons are invited and its terminal hour is later than 10 p.m, then those children and young persons may vacate the premises by that later terminal hour for the purposes of the function event only. And that is granted to the Newton Stewart Golf Club in terms of Section 30 of the Licensing Scotland Act 2005.
Thank you very much, Lorna. Thank you, Mr. Hughes, for your presentation. As you see, you'll be getting advice of that very shortly. Okay, members, we will go on to hearing number 5, which is Dumfries and District Railway Social Club, Leafield Road, Dumfries. Clark, can you go through and confirm the procedure for this item?
Thank you, Chair. Members, your papers for this hearing start at page 71. This is an application for a major variation by the Dumfries and District Railway Social Club, Leafield Road. Unfortunately, the applicant is unable to attend today and has tendered his apologies. You do, though, have the Licensing Standards Officer present to speak to his report and to also answer any questions, and Police Scotland are present. There are no objections.
Okay, thank you very much, Elisho.
Thanks, Convener. This is a variation to remove the club status at the premises and add a Mr Colin Hope as the designated premises manager. The premises are obviously a members club bound by the club regulations, and this came about due to during again another routine visit with the applicant, and it came about the premises are being used routinely for celebrations, birthdays, anniversary parties, and obviously clubs and members clubs are bound by the number of occasional licences that can be submitted. So with that in mind, and checking the likes of their sign-in book and making sure that we're compliant with all aspects, Mr Hope took this to his committee, if you like, and they agreed to remove the club status if that was obviously agreed with yourselves. It just makes it a lot easier for them with regard to functions and getting that the kind of monetary sort of proceeds in that they can sometimes struggle with, as all premises can from time to time. So this also meant that Mr Hope had to put himself forward as the DPM there that's mentioned in the report, and again I found him not a problem to work with during my inquiry. The notice was displayed again as per the report, and no adverse comments to make at all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, members. Any questions? Scotland.
Thanks, Convener. No, nothing to add from us.
Okay, thank you. And did you say the applicant wasn't available?
Yes, Chair. Unfortunately, Mr Hope's unavailable.
Okay. Members, we're now in session then. I'm happy to agree with the recommendation. Any disagreement with that? No. Okay, Laura, can you confirm the decision of the board?
Thank you, Chair. I can confirm that the Licensing Board has granted the major variation of premises licence application by Dumfries and District Railway Social Club Dumfries in terms of the Licensing Scotland Act 2005, Section 30.
Thank you very much. We'll then go into item 7, although for some reason which is the premise ceased to be used for sale of alcohol, Sitar, 118 High Street, Annan, and the licence holder is Afil Haq Chowdhury. Clerk, can you go through this report and confirm the procedure for this item, please?
Thank you, Chair. Members, your papers start at page 73. This is a report in terms of section 28(5)(b) of the Licensing Scotland Act 2005, where it is believed that a licensed premises has ceased to trade. The events are narrated on page 73, and the Licensing Standards Officer is available if members have any questions. What I would highlight to members is that there has been interaction with the wife of the licence holder. The licence holder is believed to be deceased, and although a payment was received in February, that was for the previous year, which was outstanding. There is another fee for this year due in October of this year. In addition to contact with the licence holder's wife, there has been contact with a firm of solicitors who it was understood acted for the family business. However, they have advised us that they are not acting in this matter. In terms of the Act, if a premises has ceased to trade, then there is an opportunity for the licence to be transferred, provided an application is received within 28 days of the death, and no such application has been received. As said, if members have any questions, the Licensing Standards Officer is present.
Okay, thank you, Laura. Members, any questions for the LSO? No. Okay, we shall go into session then. The recommendation members make are a determination as to whether they are satisfied that the premises have ceased to be used for the sale of alcohol, and therefore the premises licence has ceased to have effect. It's obviously, I'm from Annan, I know that it's been closed for a while. So therefore I believe that the licence has not been used appropriately, and there hasn't been any sale of alcohol within that particular period of time, which is quite a long time. It's dozens of months as opposed to weeks. So I'm happy just to agree with the recommendations and satisfied that the premises have ceased to be used for the sale of alcohol, and therefore the premise licence has ceased to have effect. Anybody feel any differently? Laura, can you confirm the decision of the board?
Thank you, Chair. Members have determined that they are satisfied that the premises, the Sitar at 118 High Street, Annan, has ceased to use the premises licence for the sale of alcohol, and therefore the premises licence has ceased to have effect in terms of section 28 of the Licensing Scotland Act 2005.
Thank you very much. We'll then go on to item 8, which is licensed in Scotland Act 2005, personal licence, notification of conviction of Alan Patterson. Members may remember that this came to the previous licensing board, and because the applicant or the person who had the licence wasn't available, we gave him an opportunity to come back again. So it's notification of conviction of a personal licence. Laura, can you go through the process, please?
Thank you, Chair. I understand that Mr. Patterson is joining us this morning through his telephone. Members, your papers start at page 77. The board received a section 83.4b notice from the Chief Constable, which includes the section 83.5 recommendation that the personal licence for Mr Alan Patterson be suspended or endorsed. The background, members, is that on the 15th of May of this year, the licence holder himself did notify the board that he had a conviction and that had been passed to Police Scotland, and then later that same month the Chief Constable notified the licensing authority of that. The personal licence issued by the licensing board to Mr Patterson authorises him to supervise or authorise the sale of alcohol. Chair, the process is that if you are minded, Mr Patterson is here, he can make representation, and you can also hear from Police Scotland, who are also present.
Okay, thank you, Laura. Mr Patterson, can you hear us okay? And you're on mute if that's your phone number that ends 368. Mr Patterson, there should be like a microphone that's got a stroke through it. If you press that, then you'll come off mute.
Chair, unfortunately we're unable to remove the mute from Mr Patterson. You'd have to do it at his end.
Yeah, I understand that. Mr Patterson, if you want to leave the meeting and then rejoin, it should come on with your microphone off.
Alan Patterson
is now exiting.
Good morning, it's Alan Patterson.
Thank you, Alan, for doing
Alan
that.
Patterson
is now joining.
That's great of you to come. We can now hear you, which is great. So obviously, your notification of conviction and the outcome of that will depend on what you say to us today, along with Police Scotland. So it's your turn to give your presentation, please.
So I was arrested for drug driving. I've been convicted. I've lost my driving license for a year. That lapses in April. I've had a fine which I'm paying as well. I've had my personal license for 13 years. I've not had any other issues with it, and I've nothing else to add.
Thank you very much. Members, any questions? Okay, Police Scotland.
Thank you, Convener. So, yeah, as already outlined, this relates to our duty to inform of relevant convictions. And just to confirm, the conviction was from the 19th of March this year at Dumfries Sheriff Court relating to a contravention of Section 5A, 1A and 2 of the Road Traffic Act 1988, which is drug driving. And the disposal for that conviction was a fine of £500 and a disqualification for a period of 12 months, licence endorsed, and a victim surcharge of £20. So I hope you've had an opportunity to read the report, but I will go through the circumstances of it. So about 12:15 in the afternoon on Tuesday, the 12th of November 2024, Police were on mobile patrol in a marked police vehicle when they observed a Vauxhall Corsa travelling along Terregall Street in Dumfries. We've stopped this vehicle and the driver was identified as Mr. Patterson. Upon stopping this, officers noted a strong smell of cannabis from the vehicle, and due to this, Mr. Patterson was subject to a roadside drug wipe test, which gave a positive indication for cannabis. He was subsequently arrested, conveyed to the police station and required to provide a blood sample for analysis, and informed that a report may be submitted depending on the outcome of that blood analysis. So on the 21st of November 2024, the blood sample was tested and found to contain 10 micrograms of the substance, I'm not going to try and pronounce that, per litre of blood, which exceeded the specific limit for that drug, which is 2 micrograms. So obviously that's 5 times the limit, essentially. And a report was submitted to the Procurator Fiscal thereafter, which resulted in the conviction and sentence. So obviously the nature of that conviction does raise some concerns for us in respect of Mr. Patterson's lifestyle, attitudes and beliefs around illicit substance misuse, which could translate across to the licensed premises arena and obviously impact his ability and responsibilities as a personal licence holder, particularly in respect of the application of the premises drug policy. And there are concerns around how he would respond to persons potentially in possession of illicit substances within the premises based on that conviction. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Santoji. Members, any questions for Santoji? Councillor Howie.
A couple, if I may, Convener. Sergeant, what drew the attention of the officers to driving the vehicle? Was there any indication that his driving was impaired?
Thanks, Councillor. No, as far as I'm aware, there was no concern regarding an impairment, and I would assume an additional charge would have been applied if that was the case. So it's most likely been a routine stop.
So would a reading of 5 times the limit, would that impair his ability to drive?
It's quite difficult to determine because I suppose the impact of illicit substances on everybody is different. But clearly a limit of 2 micrograms has been set, and this was 5 times over that. So there is a potential that could impair somebody's driving ability.
Right, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Howie. Mr. Patterson, you've got a chance to respond.
Well, there was nothing wrong with my driving. I can drive quite normally. It's different to drink driving, that's all I can say.
Yes, thank you. And Police Scotland, Amy, are you willing to confirm your request?
Yeah, as I say, it does raise concerns for us, and we would ask the board to consider all options open to them in terms of endorsement or suspension. I think having heard Mr. Patterson's response there, it doesn't reassure me any in respect of his sort of attitudes and beliefs and whether he still uses illicit substances and the concerns that would indicate for us in terms of his operations as a personal licence holder.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, members, we are in session. Anybody want to start? Councillor Brady.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I was trying to get a question into Mr. Patterson, but telephone wouldn't work. But anyway, clarity from legal here, because how much does this actually impact on the sale of alcohol and the safety of the premises? Because Mr. Patterson, I'm assuming, will not be the only one present when alcohol is being sold. So that would be a clarification I would like.
Laura, Sian, can you help?
Through yourself, Chair, the removal of the personal licence would not prevent Mr. Patterson from acting as a barman under the supervision of someone else. It is that he himself would not be authorised to supervise or authorise the sale of alcohol if there was another person not present who was a licence holder.
Yeah, thank you. You happy with that, Councillor Brady?
Yeah, that obviously brings up the question in the sense that who else on that premises would be able to, from what Laura has said, supervise Mr. Patterson? Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, we've had similar things like this in the past where the incident wasn't done during sale of alcohol, and we've been advised by our solicitors in the past that if it doesn't have any issue with the place or person that's selling in situ, then we shouldn't take that into consideration and take no action. The applicant has been banned for driving for a year. So I'm suggesting that because of the reasons that I mentioned, that it wasn't in a place of alcohol, it was out with that particular area, that we take no action on this particular case. But I'm happy to listen to other members. Councillor Bray.
Yeah, convener, I would agree with that assessment. And yes, in other cases, we've had similar situations where we effectively have been unable to take action based on the evidence that's just been provided. So I would agree with you.
Okay, Laura, from a legal perspective, is that a safe outcome?
Yes, Chair, that is a perfectly competent and safe outcome. You have listened to Mr Patterson and also the concerns of the police representative here, and you have determined that you do not think it has a direct bearing on Mr Patterson's ability to authorise or supervise the sale of alcohol.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr Patterson, your licence has not been suspended or revoked, therefore you can continue in the role that you have. Thank you very much for coming along today.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll now go on to item. To get it back up in my. Item number 9 is the Licence Scotland Act Section 9A Annual Functions Report. Sharon, I take it you're taking us through this. I
am indeed, convener, yes. So this report details your annual functions report for 2024-25. In terms of section 9A of the Act, we must prepare and publish this within 3 months after the end of the financial year, which has been done. It has been published. So this report just seeks members' approval of that report. Obviously, if there are any concerns or any additions to be added, they can be done and it will be republished. I'm happy to take any questions that members have.
Okay, thanks very much. I'll draw members to page 89 in the conclusions. Dumfries Galloway Licence Board is pleased to report the licensed premises are continuing to generally be well run in their respective areas. The board is generally satisfied that the licensee is upholding and promoting the 5 licensing objectives. The board also recognises the effort of the licensing service and external stakeholders, including Police Scotland, to ensure that licensed premises comply with the legislation. And whilst the board recognise generally good practice of licence holders to ensure that licences are upheld and promoted, they fully expect that licence holders ensure that this good practice continues. So, any questions for Sharon or any comments? Then can I ask for the board's approval of the functions report 24-25 attached at the appendix? Oh, sorry, I've got Councillor Bretty, then Councillor Dorbert.
Yes, thank you, convener. As is more of a historical thing, because it was the previous 4 boards, and then the co-joined. It is basically just a report on what has happened in the past. So I'm quite happy with it.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Dorbert.
Thank you, convener. Just to say content to endorse, as you've already said, supporting that, and also thank you, Sharon, for authoring the report. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Laura, do you want to confirm the decision of the board?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, the Board approves the functions report for 2024-2025 of the Dumfries and Galloway Licensing Board.
Okay, thank you. We'll now move on to item 10, which is the Licence Scotland Act Section 9B Annual Financial Report 24-25. Sharon, you're taking us through this again.
Yes, I am indeed. So similar to the previous item, this is the statutory annual financial report, which we must prepare and publish again by the 30th of June each year. So this report details relevant income that has been received by the licensing board together with expenditure. I'd just draw members' attention to paragraph 2.5, which summarises the deficit for the 24-25 financial year of 6,000, which isn't far away from the previous year. So the appendix details more the income and the expenditure throughout the financial year for the licensing board. What I would say is that some of the figures, certainly in relation to direct staff costs, these figures are taken by myself as a proportion of the time that each member of staff within licensing spends on licensing board functions. Obviously, we deal with other licensing remits and regimes as well. So I'm happy to take any questions from members on this report. Thank you, Convener.
Thank you very much, Sharon. I'll maybe ask just one question myself on page 96. At the top line, training and development, 0. Come on now, we need to make sure our staff get continuous professional development and things like that.
Yeah, no, I take that on board, Convener. What I would say is certainly that the legal aspect of it, we're obviously part of legal and licensing now rather than a standalone licensing service. So sometimes costs for training and development are borne through their budget rather than directly through licensing.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Bray.
Yes, thank you, Convener. In relation, as well as part of what was the previous agenda item, the 6,000, how much of that relates or to the previous iteration of the boards and the new board? Because if I can remember off the top of my head, the different boards cumulatively had a much bigger deficit at the end of the year when it was all calculated. Or would that be me just getting older and forgetting the numbers? Thank you, Chair.
I'm not going to say anything about that, Tony, but Sharon, can you?
Yeah, it's quite difficult to say, to be perfectly honest, because the single board was established kind of halfway through that financial year. So obviously we'll have a better indication for next financial year and the financial report, because we will have had a full year of the single board. You know, we're already noticing a difference in the number of meetings, obviously, that are being held for the single board as opposed to four divisional boards. So I would like to think that some of the costs, certainly for licensing board members' costs as well, you will see a difference for next year with that.
Yeah, if I can. Yeah, I'm glad that no reference was made to my age, but there we are. Yeah, it's what I was thinking, that we will take another 12 months to fully see and appreciate those updated costs. So at this stage, this minus 6,000 is, I think, it's an acceptable figure given there's been that change.
Yeah, I would say that. Any other member wishing to talk, or are we happy to go to the recommendation? The board approves the final financial report for 24-25 attached at the appendix. Yeah, Laura, do you want to cover that one?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I can confirm that Dumfries and Galloway Licensing Board approved the annual financial report for the year 2024-2025 as presented. That's
great. Thank you very much. Members, I have no other business. Thank you very much for your input, your questions, and thanks to Police Scotland and officers for their excellent job over this last hour and a half, a bit more. But thanks very much.
Thank you,
I'll
Chair.
close the meeting of that.
Thank you, Convener.
Thanks, Convener.
Bye.